Look, I'm sorry. I tried to read it late so it'd be more funny, and I'd be more delirious, but... Funny thing, when you stay up late, you tend to pass out on the keyboard. Yeah, who would have known that? Okay, so we were at the part where Snips was poisoning them. The two fillies were floating back theatrically until Diomus, I don't even know her name, suddenly blurted out, "Wait, my head! It really was poisoned!" Before she and Silver toppled over onto the ground. Yes, I really poisoned it, Snip said in confusion. That wasn't in the script. He walked over to a metal ring in the floor and grabbed it between his teeth, pulling it up into the trapdoor. He dragged a perfectly still filly to the trapdoor one at a time, throwing them into the hole, before closing it again. And there they'll rot, Reginald. Doesn't deal with traitors. They're too traitorous. He mused as he exited the stage through the door in the back of his house, the stage lights slowly going out. By the time the curtain closed and the lights from the audience went to the half-show break, cheerilee was already long gone from her seat in the prompt corner, making her way to the unknown destination under the stage. So, when I guessed that it'd be Apple Bloom, I was pretty much wrong. It's the two bitch ponies. Which, I'm not complaining. They're gonna die. Silverspoon woke up feeling groggy. Ugh, it's double G just messes me up. Groggy. Her senses still blurred, but by whatever it was had been in those cups of tea. She was vaguely aware of a well-lit circular room with spots of metallic objects casting a glimmer of reflections everywhere. She tried moving, but her head... She tried moving her head, but found, to her great shock and surprise, that she could not. The sudden panic she felt helped clear her sense in a matter of moments, and her sight quickly returned to her. She was shocked when she found she could not move her legs, except for the front little one, which she could move slightly. Lick? Oh, it's I with a capital I, then the other I, then a T. It felt as if some metallic bands anchored them to the ground, and something was likewise keeping her eyes open. This is really interesting. The taste of iron filled her mouth, since it was being held open by some sort of metal cylinder. The tongue rested inside of the cylinder, and she could move it. Fuck. She could move it about freely, a fact she capitalized on as she explored the inside. It wasn't solid by any means. It felt more like a frame that had held a basic cylinder. I have to sound out all big words. Don't herp. Basic cylindrical shape. But she couldn't bite down on it or spit it out, no matter how hard she tried. Tim kept moving her body I'm skipping too far ahead. The attempts at moving her body provided pointless as well. Apart from the bands around her hoofs and whatever she was keeping her head in, and whatever was keeping her head in place, something was pulling her up around her middle. She couldn't slouch down either. Well, that's awfully considerable. You know, if she slouches, she might get stuck like that. Wait, can ponies slouch? Realizing she wouldn't get out of this predicament on her own, she looked around the room as best she could. The first thing she noticed was a grotesque machine, a mess of metallic arms, wheels, and various tools. It extended from a central black box. It seemed to be on rails, and Silver noted some of these rails were towards her as well. She couldn't look down to see where they ended. She wasn't able to determine the machine's use or function. She quickly lost interest. Instead, she finally saw Diamond Tiara. A few meters to her right of to the right of the machine, and trapped in much of the same way she was. That is to say, her hoofs had been attached to the ground with metal clamps, and she had leather bands around her middle as well, which was attached to the ceiling with chains. She also wasn't wearing her costume anymore, which made Silver realize it didn't feel her body either. On top of all this, there also appeared to be a glass wall all around Tiara, which was her standing at the wait. Fuck. Fuck. With her standing at the center of the glass cylinder. It seemed like the whole construction could be lifted up out of its place by a few chains connected to the top of the glass wall, as it only reached halfway up to the ceiling. Spoon also spotted several tubes and hoses opening into the cylinder, but nothing seemed to be coming out of them for now. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, foreshadowing. Her head was fixed to look in the gray filly's direction, and freaky little metal clamps held her eyes open as well. She didn't appear to have anything in her mouth, though, and Silverstone didn't think she was even awake yet. Spoon's eyes slowly started drying out, but before the sensation could become unbearable, some kind of liquid dripped down into her eyes, moistening them up. Silver shuddered to think about what reason anyone could have strapped into so elaborate a device, but she managed to keep her calm. It was possible they had accidentally been poisoned, and this was high-tech medical facility after all. Super high-tech. That's why they have knives strapped to a big black box. She didn't really believe it herself. The thought did keep her from screaming right there and then. The thought and the thing in her mouth was forced to admit. Right then, Diamond Tiara woke up. She didn't see in the process Silverstone's calm disposition. She immediately shrieked, but she found out she was being held immobile in a glass bowl until her eyes fell on the gray filly a few meters away from her. Once again, I can't do girls' voices. I'll try my best, but if I really fuck up, I'm just going to give her a random generic creeper voice. Silverspoon, what's going on? Where are we? Get me out, she cried. Silver tried to respond, but her reply was, Shalom. Dawn. Wasn't of much use to Diamond. I'm just going to decode that. Wadon Kana. Hold on. Shalom Dawn is hold on, and Awada Kanawa is, I don't know. I have no idea. Finally awake, I see. In a calm voice. Oh, it's calm. Finally awake. It's truly calm voice. Finally. Finally. Yeah, here's the creeper voice. Finally awake, I see. The calm voice accompanied by footsteps. After Cheerilee stepped into the room, Diamond immediately started calling out for her help, but Cheerilee paid her no attention. She seemed far more interested in the spoon and the machine in the middle. Then let's get started, shall we? She said as she walked right in between the two fillies, pulling down a lever on the machine's right side. At once it seemed alive, little lights flickering on all around it as metallic arms swung down and moved into place. Cheerilee walked over to the gray filly, who was now positively terrified, and whispered into her ear, "You have no idea how much research and measuring you up went into this. But I got it all right, you'll see. They'll all see." No, I shouldn't say that. What do yo Victoria asked in confusion. I'm just gonna give her the pyro voice. Ooh! Victoria asked in confusion. The cheerleader simply shook her head and smiled as she took a few steps back. Hey, if you feel bad at that free leg of yours, you should press the button. Just hold it down if you've had enough. But I warn you, your friend won't like it. Oh, that's sadistic as hell, and I love it. She said, giggling girlishly at the end of the sentence. Actually, I'm pretty sure I was already mimicked it on accident. Spoon tried to follow her teacher with her gaze, being both utterly confused and terrified at the same time, but she quickly disappeared from her narrow field of vision. I just feel like if I was Silver Spoon, because she's such a fish bunny, she'd be holding her foot on the button. Watch my friend die. Is it probably an officer? Her attention was suddenly grabbed by the strange device in the center of the room. As it started rolling towards her, at first the silver affiliate just watched in bewilderment until she spotted one of the robotic arms lifting a metal needle up to the same height as her left eye. She knew it there as it advanced. Her eyelids were already artificially being held open, her eyes had grown wide with fear when she realized what was about to happen. She begged, getting more spit out of her mouth with simple words. She thought the tip of the needle slowly close to her eye as she tried to wrestle free of her bonds. She came to the same confusion she had before. She could never get free on her own. She racked her brain for a way out, but she started to panic until she suddenly remembered Cheer's words. She fell out of herself, and sure enough, she bumped into a slightly elevated point on the floor. The button! Without hesitation, she pushed down on it, and the needle came to an immediate halt about 5 centimeters from her face. She sighed in relief. That had been a lot easier than she expected. Maybe it was a test, and now she had passed it. Cheerilee would. Someone didn't listen to the whole sentence. I can see why you're mad at them, Cheerilee. They won't even listen to one sentence. She never got to finish her train of thought as Diamond Sierra's terrifying screams pierced her eardrums. Looking past the machine with the right eye, Spoon focused her gaze on the glass tank and Diamond Sierra was in. Some kind of clear liquid was now flowing into the tank from various pipes and hoses on the sides, and it was slowly spreading over the floor. Silverstone quickly drew the connection between her pressing the button. The machine stopped and the liquid started to fill up the tank. It was starting to fill up the tank, but compared to her losing an eye, she thought Diamond could afford to get wet for a while. Oh, Billy's so innocent and dumb. The lights being silly didn't seem to argue as she screamed fiercely. Spoon! Help! Get me out of here! Spoon rolled her eyes as best she could at this. And what could she do to help anyway? The level of water and the tank kept rising. As it finally got high enough to touch the bottom of Diamond Jar's leg, Spoon realized her mistake. She watched him forward as his friend screamed in pain. A cloud of red blood diffusing into the clear liquid as it ate away at the filly's flesh. What Spoon had assumed to be water was obviously acid of some description. It was safe, but it was a safe bet that Diamond Jar had smelled that ages ago. Corrosive liquid continued to pour into the glass tank, chunks of flesh already coming loose from just above Diamond's hooves as they got soaked in it. The white of bone became visible quickly, and Ciara screamed and begged for Cheerilee or Spoon, for any pony really, but please make it stop. Yeah, Diamond Ciara really doesn't have like a go-to pony, like Scooter with Rainbow Dash. He needs something like that. Do you like it? They use that stuff to clean carcasses. You know. You know. It's some nice skeletons to display in the classroom. Surely heard her teacher say from behind her. Thick, twisted. She reluctantly looked at the needle still suspended in the air in front of her and took a deep breath. Summoning all of her courage and with tears rolling out of the corner of her eye, Silver Spoon slowly slid her hoof off the button. I don't know what it is, I just can't stand eyes when something like piercing the eyes or whatever. Fear of mine. I need something touching my eyes up here. This is really fucking messed up, in my opinion. But I love it. I love it. Sort of. I kind of sort of do. Summoning all of her courage and with tears rolling out of the corner of her eye, Silverton slowly slid her hoof off the button. At once the machine buzzed to life again and the flow of acid into the tank stopped. The Tiara shrieked heartbreakingly for a while longer before dying down to a sobbing as the last piece of flesh touching the fairy so it got melted right off of her bones. I'd like to see the bone structure of a pony. What is it? Is it like hoof, metacarpals, legs, femur? Do they even have femurs? I don't know. My little pony blood structure. There we go. Yep, she has a blood structure. No bone structure. She had nothing but bone left up 2 centimeters from her hoof up, and a small stream of blood was flowing down into the acid from the fairy and the disfigured stump of meat just above it. The scarlet clouds that floated around in the fish's liquid vanished quickly as well. Apparently no more resistance to the corrosion than Diamond Tiara's flesh. Where does it go then? Spoon's limbs trembled as the needle approached her eye, filling more and more of her field of vision. Then, after what seemed like an eternity, it finally reached its destination. The silver fairy felt the pressure of her eye increasing for a moment, before the needle suddenly popped in and pain exploded inside of her head. She let an intangible garbled scream as pain receptors, never imagined that existed, bombarded her mind. With warning signals telling her something was wrong. Not knowing or caring what she was powerless to do anything about it. The left side of her vision first colored red and then suddenly winked out. Half of her world darkened forever. Silverstone momentarily forgot her pain, as she wondered why she had never realized how much her sight meant to her until now. Don't worry, you can still be a pirate. Yo ho, yo ho. Pirate's life for thee. Agony once again washed over her as 2 little hooks sprung up out of the tip of the needle, anchoring themselves into her eyeball. The needle started to spin around and the silver almost started throwing up right there as she felt her eye turning. Her eyes start turning with it. Her horse cries. Her horse cries. That's like an unintentional pun. It's funny as well. Or her horse cries. Echoed throughout the room as the device spun its appendage around faster and faster, winding her optical nerve up like a bored child with a piece of string. The painful sensory overload was too much for little Philly to bear. Restraining that added to her torment as she lost control of her bladder. Palm face, palm face, palm face. The needle suddenly drew back, taking her eye with it as she felt warm blood drip down her cheek. She wanted to scream and push her hoof up against her now empty socket, but her stomach protested so much that she needed all her will to not throw up. all over herself. But 1 second, I have coffee on my hands. I'm just gonna lick it off. It's really weird if someone heard me reading this and licking coffee off my hands. She panted heavily into the metal cylinder as sweat dripped off of her body and the machine grew lightly holding the skewered eye that had once... fuck, the wrong thing. Stop recording, yes.